Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. The space where we dive into life's biggest questions with open minds and fearless hearts. If you're new here, welcome to the journey. If you've been traveling with us, you already know we are not afraid to question even our most sacred beliefs. Today, we step into a question that touches the core of love, loyalty, freedom, and human nature itself. Is lifelong monogamy realistic? Or is it a beautiful myth, a dream we keep chasing, even though we know it's slipping through our fingers? This question is not just about marriage. It's about what it means to love, to promise, to stay even when everything inside us sometimes whispers, run. Let's dive in. First, let's ask, where did the idea of lifelong monogamy even come from? Many people believe monogamy is natural, that it's built into the human heart. We dream of finding the one, of a love that lasts forever, because it feels right. It feels true. But biologically speaking, humans are complicated. As we discussed last time, very few mammals practice lifelong monogamy, and even when they do, it's messy, filled with betrayals, side pairings, and second chances. Scientists like Helen Fisher, a leading anthropologist on love, suggest that humans are naturally driven by three different brain systems. 1. Lust, the craving for sexual gratification. 2. Romantic love, the intense focus on one beloved individual. 3. Attachment, the calm, steady bond that grows over time. These systems overlap, but they are separate. You can feel lust for one person, romantic love for another, and deep attachment to yet another, sometimes all at once. Evolution didn't design us to love one person forever. It designed us to survive, to reproduce, to adapt. And yet here we are, longing for soulmates, celebrating 50th wedding anniversaries, writing songs and poems about everlasting devotion. Clearly, there's more to the story. Let's dig into history for a moment. In ancient societies, monogamy was often more social strategy than romantic ideal. In many cultures, elites were polygamous. Kings, emperors, and powerful men often had multiple wives or concubines. Monogamy became more widespread as societies grew larger and more complex. It helped reduce jealousy, simplify inheritance, and create social stability among large populations. The Roman Empire eventually endorsed monogamy not because it was more natural, but because it was more politically convenient. The early Christian church then sanctified monogamous marriage as sacred, a lifelong commitment in the eyes of God. So, monogamy became not just a personal choice, but a moral duty deeply tied to virtue, honor, and salvation. But even as monogamy was celebrated publicly, private behavior often told a messier story. Affairs, secret relationships, and quiet separations have always been part of the human love landscape. And that raises the deeper philosophical question. Are we expecting something of marriage and of ourselves that we are biologically and psychologically ill-equipped to deliver? Let's bring philosophy into the picture. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned us, there is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. Nietzsche believed that love's intensity was fleeting, that it burned bright but could not sustain itself over the long haul without transformation. Romantic love, in his view, was the chaotic spark but not the fuel for a lifetime. What sustains a lifelong bond, he suggested, is not passion but shared purpose, values, and creative growth. Similarly, Simone de Beauvoir observed that most marriages fail because we expect one person to fulfill every need, romantic, sexual, intellectual, emotional, existential. When in reality, no single human being can be all things at all times. De Beauvoir believed that genuine, free relationships could exist but only if both partners respected each other's freedom and evolution, even when that meant distance, change, or hard conversations. Marriage, she argued, should not be a prison of promises but a dance of mutual becoming. Now, let's be real. Staying in love with the same person for 50 years is hard. Really hard. Not because people are bad at love, but because people change. You are not the same person today that you were 5 years ago, and neither is your partner. Dreams evolve. Bodies age. Priorities shift. Wounds happen. A marriage that lasts decades is not a static thing. It's a living, breathing organism that must adapt, forgive, reinvent itself again and again. Think about it. Every long-lasting relationship is actually a series of many different relationships with the same person. You fall in love with them at 25. You grieve losses with them at 35. You rebuild dreams with them at 45. You nurse illnesses and share silences at 65. In that sense, lifelong monogamy is not about loving one person forever, it's about learning to love many different versions of that person across the seasons of life. But what about desire? What about the inevitable attraction to other people, even when you love your partner deeply? Philosopher Alain de Botton reminds us, one person cannot satisfy all of our needs, nor should they have to. He argues that we must mature our understanding of love, accept that attraction to others is natural, not a betrayal. What matters is not eliminating desire, but choosing how to act with honesty, respect, and commitment. In other words, lifelong monogamy is not about never being tempted. It's about honoring a deeper promise, the promise to build something richer than fleeting pleasure. And that promise must be chosen freely and repeatedly, not simply assumed or enforced by guilt or fear. Of course, this raises a radical possibility. Maybe lifelong monogamy isn't natural in the sense of being effortless. But maybe that's exactly what makes it meaningful. If love were easy, if loyalty were automatic, they wouldn't be precious. Their value lies precisely in the fact that they require effort, mindfulness, humility, forgiveness. Choosing one person again and again across the shifting landscapes of life. That's not blind instinct. That's art. That's philosophy. So, where does that leave us? Is lifelong monogamy realistic? It's not guaranteed. It's not effortless. And it's certainly not natural in the animalistic sense. But it is possible for those willing to approach love as a living practice, not a passive fate. It demands that we confront our illusions, our selfishness, our fantasies of perfect fulfillment. It requires strength and tenderness, imagination and discipline. It asks us not to find a perfect partner, but to become one imperfectly, beautifully, one day at a time. Key takeaway: love is not a feeling we fall into. It's a practice we build. Monogamy is not a cage. It's a canvas, and every choice we make adds a brushstroke. Whether you believe in lifelong monogamy or not, the real question is deeper. What kind of love are you willing to build? Thank you for diving deep with me today. In our next episode, we'll tackle another burning question. Is marriage a dying institution or evolving into something more powerful than ever before? Trust me, the answers might change how you see the future of love. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. I read every comment, and your voice matters here. Until next time, stay wise, stay wild, and above all, keep questioning everything. Thank you.